And welcome back to another Paul's Aquariums unboxing video. I'm Paul, this is Paul's Aquariums, aquarium shop since 1999, a long time ago. We're going to show you lots of cool fish for your aquarium in this video. There are all sorts. I think we've got 2 or 3 different wholesalers and we have some local bred fish as well. Bag number 1. Ooh, from India we have some Rasboras barbs. So these are one of the slightly bigger barbs. They're going to get around about that sort of 8 to 12 centimeters, and these look super awesome. I'm pretty sure they're endangered in the wild as well, but these are all captive bred, so there's a lot of captive bred ones around the world. They're going to get a really nice dorsal fin, which is like spiky and cool in the males when they mature. And as I said, they get a decent size. You don't want to mix them with small fish like neon tetras and that. Coming from India, they are a tropical fish, so these guys and girls are going to survive anything from 22 to about 28 degrees Celsius, so whatever that is in Fahrenheit. And pH-wise, anything from 6 to about 7.5, as long as there's no jumping around and stuff like that. Schooling fish again, so you want to keep a group of at least sort of 5 or 6 of them. And because they get quite big, you want to keep them with slightly bigger tetras, you want to keep them with slightly bigger Central and South American cichlids. Nothing too huge, but big ones of these are going to be okay with sort of 20 centimeter size fish, etc, etc. If you want something bigger, schooling that looks pretty awesome and they get really nice sort of bluey green sheen to the males as they mature as well, Rasboras barbs. And there should be a couple of bags of those in there somewhere. Yes, I can see a couple of bags of them, so there should be lots and lots available. And we're jumping to South America. We have lampi tetras, so called a lampi tetra because they're a tetra and they have little glowing eyes. Well, around their eyes they have like a little reddy, lamprey bits. I'm looking at them going, why are they called a lampi tetra? Yeah, because they have red in the eye, and apparently that is lampi. So these are from South America, same sort of water conditions, so 6 to about 7. Temperature-wise, 22 to 26 degrees on average, they'll be fine. Don't get as big as the Rasboras barbs, but they're going to max out about 5-6 centimeters, so still a decent size tetra. Can be a little bit nippy, so maybe don't keep them with guppies and big delicate tails, but they're okay with neons and other tetras and Rasbora and barbs and stuff like that. Really cool silver, nice schooling fish, so you want to keep a group of like 5 or 6 or more. The more you have of these, the more awesome they look, and they're the ones that you see in a lot of people's big tanks on Instagram and social media where they're all swimming back and forward and back and forward, because they swim back and forward and back and forward. But lampi tetras, another really cool tetra from South America. We've jumped to more tetras and South America. So we haven't really jumped, have we? No. Neon tetras, we have a lot of neon tetras come and go. These are the red and blue, lovely little neon tetras with the white belly from South America. pH-wise, anything from 6 to 7, and temperature-wise, anything from 20 degrees up to about 26 degrees. So they're fine, a little bit cooler compared to some other different tetras and bits and pieces. They max out about sort of 3.5 centimeters at most. Really small, really peaceful, really colorful, awesome little fish. So you can keep these with a big variety of other things like guppies and other little tetras, corridorus, all those peaceful little fish, but lots of red and blue neon tetras back in. Want to roll with tetras from South America. So we have a black widow tetras or black skirt tetras, depending on where you live in the world. I was going to say in the wild. Kind of the wild. You may live in the wild. I'm not too sure how you're watching me, but congratulations if you live in the wild. But black widow tetras, we're going to call them that because that's what they're called in Australia, are going to max out about that 5 centimeters or so. So a decent sort of size, maybe 20-cent piece size on average. Peaceful, they're a nice round shape, so a little bit different than a lot of the other tetras. What a school of them as well. Did I just say school? A school of them as well. So you want to get like 5 or 6 or more. So there's a nice group of them. And you also want to keep their pH between 6 and 7. Temperature-wise, 25, 26 degrees, they'll be perfectly fine. Another cool little fish, and called a black skirt because the back tail fin bit where the skirt would be. Who names these? Where the skirt would be is black. Wonder what other fish we've got where potentially skirts could be. Next, otocinclus catfish. Okay, a catfish, but from South America. No skirts on these, and probably nowhere you can really squish a skirt. Well, I'm sure you probably could if you're really that way inclined. But we do have a lot of ottos come and go. These are a peaceful little algae-eating catfish from South America. They're schooling again, so you want groups of 3 or 6 or more. They eat biofilm, they eat algae. They're going to max out about 4 to 5 centimeters. Super peaceful, very cool. A little bit hard to keep because they like the water slightly soft and slightly acidic. Temperature wise, anything from like 22 to 26, 28 degrees Celsius, they'll be fine. But they are sort of one of those fish that are not going to just race over to the food. So if you've got a lot of hungry fish in your tank, a lot of bristlenose and stuff like that, and you put algae wafers in, bristlenose is going to get the algae wafers. These are just going to sit back and go, what are you doing? And eventually not get enough food. So leaf litter, biofilm, driftwood, lots of plants, all that sort of stuff. They'll spend all their time grazing on all that. But all round, just awesome little peaceful catfish. If you want something for a small tank, community tank, any micro tank, they will go super, super well as long as you get a group of them. And there should be a couple of bags of them there. And we have sparkling gouramis. Okay, we get a lot of sparkling gouramis in as well, and I'm pretty sure there's a couple of bags of sparkling gouramis. I said sparkling gouramis way too many times, sparkling gouramis. These stay small, so about 3-4 centimeters or so at the most. Tiny little awesome fish. Gouramis breathe through the surface, so these are from Southeast Asia, and yeah, they stay really small. Called sparkling because they have a sparkling pattern to them. Really nice peacock sort of sparkling pattern to them. Very easy to breed and a very cool, cheap fish. If you want something really small for a small tank, they'd go really well with the Otto Cinclus. They're a tropical fish again, so anything from 22 degrees to about 26, 28 degrees Celsius is fine. And pH-wise, anything from 6 to 7, and you will go well with these little guys and girls. Cool little gouramis, and I'm pretty sure we got some more gouramis in there as well, somewhere. Let's look. And from Japan and China, we have madakas, or Japanese rice fish, even though they do come from China as well. Weird mixture in there. Looks like there are some platinums, there are some golds, there's a few weird beady-eyed ones. I think there's quite a few different varieties of madakas now getting brought into Australia, so we should have some all weird different types eventually. Called a rice fish because they live in small areas of water, like rice paddy fields and that. Don't really look like a rice fish. They do look like a rice fish, but they don't look like a rice. They get about sort of 4-5 centimeters on average. A cold water fish, they're going to survive anything from like 5 degrees Celsius all the way up to like 25 or so. Don't like the water too warm, so you don't want to keep them too hot. Perfect for ponds if you want something that eats mosquito larvae. Has little egg clusters at the back of them, so they're pretty easy to breed. The fry are super small, but as long as there's adequate food and places for the fry to escape the parents and stuff like that, you'll usually get a few babies survive. All round awesome little fish. pH wise, anything from 6.5 to 7.5, and they'll be fine as well. Rice fish, cool little cold water, exciting fish. Yay. And we have some Orandas. Okay, these are from China. So an Oranda is a goldfish. They're the ones with the big brainy head things. And these are red cap Orandas. So they have the red brainy thing. Yes, I know. So a white goldfish with a red brainy thing. And that's not really their brain. That's called their ren, which is just a lumpy skin thing on their head. Yeah, they've been line bred over years and years and years to get the bumpy head thing. So it would have just been a normal goldfish or a normal fantail, which is a goldfish with a little pot belly and a double tail, develop a little head thing, and then they just keep breeding them till they end up with those, which are red cap Orandas, because why wouldn't you want a red brainy thing on a goldfish? Now, goldfish are cold water, so they're going to max out about that sort of 20-25 centimeters for an Oranda, where normal goldfish are going to get like 30-40 centimeters, huge bloody things. These don't get as big, so think of them as like dogs. They're different shapes and colors of the same animal, so all your goldfish are different shapes and colors of goldfish, like dogs are different shapes of dogs. Cut. But anyway, they don't get as big as a normal goldfish, but they still get pretty big. So you want about 50-60 litres per adult goldfish, just to give them enough room in that. pH-wise, anything from 7 to 7.5, so they don't want the water too acidic for these. And temperature-wise, anything from like 1 degree Celsius up to like about 25 degrees Celsius is perfectly fine for them. Don't like it too warm because they like a lot of oxygen in the water. But those are the red caps. We also have a couple of bags of different Orandas. Yes, they're different. Right, there's different colours. There's a few, haven't even seen them. Yeah, red and whites and bronze and stuff like that. But they are going to get the bumpy head on them as well as they mature. So yeah, as bigger they get, the more the bumpy head gets. And there's different sort of shapes to them and all sorts of stuff as well. But assorted Orandas, red cap Orandas, lots of Orandas. Next. And yay, we finally got some. These are the wiggly Kuhli loaches that we haven't had the last 2 or 3 times. We've had the brown Kuhli loaches, or the black ones, even though they're brown. These are the stripy Kuhli loaches, finally back in stock. Lovely, peaceful little community fish. So they're going to max out about 8 to 10 centimeters. Stripy, peaceful, awesome little things that look like worms, but they're not worms. Look like snakes, they're not snakes. They're a loach, which is like a catfish. Very cool little peaceful things. You can keep them with neons, guppies, all that sort of stuff. Lovely. You want to keep a group of them, so the more you have, the more you're going to see. So if you get 3 or 6 or more, they're going to be out and about a little bit more often than just having 1 or 2. And if you have 1 or 2, they'll just be hidden, wondering where all their mates are. So the more the merrier with these. pH-wise, anything from 6 to 7, and temperature-wise, anything again from 22 to 28 degrees Celsius, and you will go well with them. Very cool, very wiggly. Kuhli loaches. Kuhli loach. Kuhli loach. All for the people wanting them, black ghost knifefish. Okay, we've got a fair few of these. Black ghost knifefish are from South America. They are freaky cool fish. They go by electricity in the water. They look like a knife with like a rippling fin that goes through their whole body. Yeah, they have a little white bit on their tail, otherwise everything is black, including their eyes, which is kind of weird. They do have eyes, but they sort of go more by electricity in the water. So these are the really cool fish that you can have like a clear tunnel in your pipe, and they will park themselves in the tunnel, look half dead, apart from wiggling and stuff like that. So everyone that sees them is just gonna go, what on earth have you got in your tank? Yeah, or you've got a dead fish, but it's not a dead fish. It's a black, wiggling, weird fish from South America. They're gonna max out about 30, 40 centimeters, have a mouth big enough that they're gonna eat little fish, so neon tetra size, dinio size, that sort of thing is gonna go missing when they're bigger, but when they're smaller, they're generally okay with most of those sort of fish. So temperature-wise, anything from 22 to 28 degrees Celsius, and pH-wise, 6 to 7. You'll go fine with these. They are super awesome. If you keep more than 1 in a tank, you want lots of pipes and caves so they don't harass each other over the same pipe. Otherwise, they're gonna pick one pipe and they're forever gonna harass and harass and harass. But black ghost knifefish back in for all the people wanting them, because these are super, super cool fish. Yay. And another 2 really, really cool fish. I keep these at home. So these are wild caught Oscars. Now, kind of sounds a bit boring, because why would you want a wild caught Oscar when there's all the really cool Oscars? And I think, was it last week we had the longfin Oscar, or was that the week before? I'm losing track of what week it is, but the longfin Oscar was super, super awesome. It's a longfin Nemo Oscar, so go back and look at that video if you haven't seen that video. But these have a really nice pattern on them, and when they mature, if you watch any of my fish room videos, you'll see an adult one in one of my 9-foot tanks. Really nice looking Oscar, different pattern, different color than all the normal tiger Oscars, albino tigers, red Oscars, all that sort of stuff, because these are the pattern of a variety that lives in the wild. Now there are lots of different varieties that live in the wild with different patterns, really, really cool fish, but we have 2 available of these wild caught Oscars. Yes, so be quick. If you would like one of these, I think I've only got 2, so comment down below or message me on social media and we can tell you if we still got them. I'm sure we'll still have them, but I think, now don't hold me on this, they're around $50, $60 for a little baby Oscar. So a little bit pricey compared to the other ones, but they're worth it. And I'm not taking them home because I have 2 at home. I do need like a lot more though, but I'm not taking these home. So if you do want some, come in quickly. Wild Oscars, yay. Awesome cichlid from South America. Did I even tell you anything about them? No. I probably should, shouldn't I? Yes. They will grow 30, 40 centimeters. They will eat all your little fish, if you have little fish in there. They are obviously from South America, so pH-wise 6 to 7, and temperature-wise 22 to 28 degrees Celsius, and they will be fine. There you go, information, but they're really cool. You should get one, maybe 2. Awesome. So I think last week we had Harlequin Rasbora, now we've got Hengeli Rasbora, which is like a Harlequin Rasbora, but a different pattern. That's probably the easiest way of explaining these. It's like, oh, what's wrong with those Harlequin Rasbora? Well, they're not Harlequins, they're Hengeli Rasbora. Looks the same, but different, I suppose you could say. Yeah, that's a good intro to a fish, but otherwise, these are a lovely little Asian Rasbora. I was gonna say tetra, which Rasbora are kind of like tetras. Like the water slightly acidic, so anything from 6.5 to about 7.2 or so. Temperature-wise, anything from 22 degrees to about 26, 28 degrees. Keep a school of them, so you want to group, so anything from like 5, 6, more the merrier with these, but just a nice little fish that's going to max at about 3 to 4 centimeters and is super, super peaceful. Want something a little bit different for your tank, get a group of these because they will go really well with tetras and all that sort of stuff in a nice planted community tank. Chinese sucking catfish. Okay, now these are kind of weird. They will survive a little bit colder than normal catfish do. Well, normal sucking fish do, I should say, because there are some really cold water catfish and really tropical catfish and stuff like that. There's not many cold water sucker fish you can easily get in Australia because of the import laws and stuff. But these will survive like 18 degrees, no problem. Don't really want to keep them with goldfish because they're going to suck on the sides of slow moving fish like goldfish, so try not to do that. You want to keep them with slightly bigger sort of tetras, barbs, all that sort of stuff. So temperature-wise, 18 to about 26, 28 degrees Celsius, and pH-wise, anything from like about 6.5 to 7.5, almost up to 8. And you can kind of keep these with Malawi cichlids, but because they don't have an armor to them, they kind of get wiped out by big Malawi cichlids, but they will tolerate the high pH. So it's sort of one of those, plecos don't like the high pH, these like the high pH, but these are not covered in armor, so they kind of don't last with cichlids like that. So maybe keep them more sort of with Central American and South American, smaller cichlids, community fish, bigger barbs, loaches, all that sort of stuff, and they will do a lot better. But sucking catfish, and it looks like we have yellow ones and normal ones and yellowy normally ones. They're going to get about 15, 20 centimeters, get pretty big, and algae eating, but they also suck on the sides of fish and eat slime off them and that. So not a great fish for slow moving fish, but they are a cool catfish nevertheless. I did say there was more gouramis, and we finally got 2 more gouramis. So these are like your sparkling gourami. I had to think about what type of gouramis they were, but these are croaking gouramis, and yeah, they'll get a little bit bigger, so about 5 centimeters as opposed to like 2 to 3 centimeters for the other ones. And these are called a croaking gourami because they make croaking noises with their little fins. Yeah, so if you have these in your community tank and they're just doing their gourami stuff and all of a sudden you hear this weird crickety frog sound, it's the fish. Weird, I know. Otherwise, they're kind of a pretty little gourami, so they have like a nice iridescent hue. I was going to say speckle, but more of a hue to them. And yeah, relatively peaceful. Obviously, they're going to chase down shrimp and stuff like most gouramis do, but you can keep these with tetras, little Rasboras, all that sort of stuff. Temperature-wise, 22 to 28 degrees Celsius, and pH-wise, anything from 6 to 7. They will be fine. Really nice little gouramis, and we don't get them in that often, but croaking gouramis back in because they croak, and they're weird. But weird is good. Yes, it is. There's been a few people after these. Silver sharks, finally back in. Now, these are called bala sharks in half the world, silver sharks in the other half of the world. They only look like a shark. They don't have teeth. They've sort of got like a round mouth hole thing. Mouth hole. But they are the shape of a shark. So silver with the black edging on them. They're schooling. They will get quite big, so 30, 40 centimeters, which is a pretty chunky fish. So you want a decent sized tank for them, and you want a group of them. So try and get like 3 or 6 or more. So it will take up a lot of room in your tank. They do take ages to grow. So these are like 3, 5, maybe 5 centimeters or so, not 3 centimeters, 5 centimeters. So these are about 5 centimeters or so, but they're going to probably take a good year or so before they're around about 10, 12 centimeters. So they go through random growth spurts. So they're small, then they get a little bit bigger, they take ages, get a little bit bigger again. So a really nice fish if you want something that looks like a shark, and they're very awesome. So these are from Southeast Asia, so tropical, so 22 to 28 degrees Celsius, and again, pH-wise 6 to 7, and you will go really, really well with these. Now be warned, because we have a lot of local guppies soon, so you'll see them on the screen because they're all over the place at the moment, but we also have some lovely imported guppies. There are lots of male guppies, and I don't even know what type of guppies we've got in here, but you can see them on the screen. So lots of male guppies. As I said, I think in the last video, male guppies are very colorful. There are so many different colors to the tails. If you keep males and no females, you're not going to end up with thousands of babies. If you mix the males and females together, obviously you end up with a lot of baby guppies everywhere, which is not a bad thing unless you don't want lots and lots of guppies. They will get eaten by their parents, so there's that whole issue as well. But If you want something really colourful, very easy to look after, male guppies, temperature-wise, anything from 20 degrees up to about 26, 28 degrees Celsius, and pH-wise, anything from 7 to about 7.4 or so is their optimum range. Don't like the water acidic, but they will cope with it a little bit acidic for a while. Lots of guppies. And yes, you'll see all the local guppies soon. There are a lot of guppies. Guppies, we have a big bag of male koi betta fish. Oh, look at the fins on them. Okay, that's how they pack them. So there are, I think, more betta fish coming tomorrow, which you'll see in the next minute or so as well. So we're going to open all these up, show you all the betta fish, and we're going to show you the new guppies now. And then we're going to jump to more fish. Why not? Yes, let's do that now. And we have jumped to the other side of the counter. We're going to show you all the new local bred guppies. So there's a few different varieties of those have turned up this week, as well as more betta fish. And starting with the guppies, there are a few different types. So we've got these, which are green cobras. There are males, there are females. There's some huge, big girls in there. So awesome fish if you want to line breed something and get all your different patterns and stuff to them. We still have some of these really awesome blue platinum guppies as well. Look at them. I know, they are crazy nice. There's the guppies you just saw before, so sort of dumbos and bits and pieces. There are some local bred blue neon guppies as well. So males, females, they should breed about 99% true. So if you breed the males and females together, the bulk of them are going to be blue babies. And there's some really nice, heavily pregnant females there as well. Next door, we have some red cobras. Again, these are local bred, so boys and girls. Lots and lots of guppies. Some really nice Corydoras down the bottom as well. And I think if we leap up the top, don't even ask me what type of guppies they are, but they are really nice guppies. And I think we've got a few of the really other fancy guppies from last week, only about 3 or 4 left, I think, and a few in there as well. Still got countless females down here. Yes, lots of females, lots of yellows, all sorts of colors in there. And the last ones, we have these neon orange guppies, males and females. Platinum neon orange? I don't know what they were called. I think she said they were platinum orange, but they're orange. They are pretty awesome. Mixed in with some really nice blue platies. Yes, we got more blue platies again. Look how lovely those fish are. But tons and tons of guppies. If you haven't had guppies before, they are super easy, fun little tropical fish to keep and breed. That is all the guppies. Now we're going to hopefully see the betta fish. And I say hopefully because the only problem with the betta fish is we have sun shining into this room. So I may jump a little bit so we can see them a little bit better, but if we hit the right angle, we might be able to see them. Okay, there are some crown tails. Now, crown tails are the spiky-tailed betta fish. Oh, we can sort of see lots of reflections, so this is not really going to work, is it? No. Okay, we're going to bear with it though. There are some really nice crown tails. I think we've got about 20 or 30 nice male crown tails in. Lots of blues. I think there's some orange with a blacky brown body. Is that black? Is that brown? You get the idea. Oh, there's a really nice orange one there. Look at that pretty fish. I know, we got reflections and everything happening. Lots of blues, lots of metallic, I suppose you could say. Now, with these betta systems, they are all, the water is dripping through from the sump. There's a heater and a filter. So they're around about 50 litres or so. So we wouldn't recommend anything smaller than about a 20 to 30 litre tank for a male betta. They don't really need the circulation, but the circulation helps with maintaining the heat. So you want them nice and warm, anything from roughly about 22 degrees up to about 30 degrees Celsius. Now, these are the fancy ones. Look at that. That is a pretty fish, and it's going to be really hard to show you how nice these fish are because of the reflections, but these are all koi longfin deltas and stuff like that. Koi is just the pattern to them. Look at that one. I know, I have not cleaned the glass, but you can kind of make out the fish. Lots of them. I think we've got 20 of them, give or take. There may only be 10, I don't know. Depends if you're counting with me or if you're just looking at how awesome some of these fish are. Look at that one. That one's got translucent fins in the tail. Really weird fins on that. And, oh, look at that one. If we can kind of see you, pastel pinks. Bit of fluorescent greens and stuff to that one. There are more crown tails down the bottom. There is another one there. Look at the big buffy fins. Lovely looking fish. Not that we can really see the color of you because we have reflections and all sorts of stuff happening. There's a couple of really big bright red crown tails there. Look at the fat belly on you. Just had lunch. There are some really, really nice fish. Look at that. But that is all the male bettas. Well, there's probably another 20 or so there. I'm not kind of showing you because of the reflection. Lots of awesome male betta fish. Now, looked after properly, male betta fish are going to live up to 10 years in captivity. They do like it warm, as I said, so try and heat them during winter. In summer and spring in Brisbane, you can sort of get away unheated, and they do breathe through the surface. So as long as your water quality is good, they will be good. Otherwise, filtration will just help with any ammonia or nitrate issues you have. There we go. Okay, that was all the betta fish. Let's jump again. And whoops, I forgot a couple of smaller boxes. So we have a couple extra boxes of rainbow fish. So these are Papua New Guinea rainbow fish, Bosmani. They are the really, really cool rainbow fish that are going to max out about that 12, 14 centimeters. And they're the ones that go half orangey yellow, half bluey purple. Really cool fish. Now, the weird thing with these is they are a tropical fish, so anything between 22 to about 30 degrees Celsius, but they like the water alkaline, so anything from about, say, 6, 8, 7, all the way up to about a pH of 8, which is kind of interesting for rainbows. There are more rainbows in here, and these are from the Barcoo River, which is Western Queensland, otherwise known as a desert rainbow fish. Now, these are very extreme in water quality as well. So not only the pH that can be from 6 to about 8, which is a huge variation, they also like the temperature, anything from 5 degrees Celsius all the way up to like 30, 35 degrees Celsius. So that is absolutely crazy for a fish. Obviously, you don't want to shock them and jump them, but they are a pretty decent rainbow fish. Awesome for ponds, these ones. Obviously, the Papua New Guinea ones don't go in ponds unless you live in Papua New Guinea or in the tropics. But awesome pond fish, awesome tank fish, lots of rainbow fish. Let's jump to some more cool fish. So I could probably show you cool fish for days, and yeah, we will one day. But I thought while we're here, I'm going to show you how awesome these fish are. Now, hardly anyone likes these fish. These are called banded leperonis, and they are an absolutely nippy, nasty fish, but look how cool they are. They're like an elongated bumblebee. I know. Now, they don't stay small like this, and these are probably about 6 centimeters or so. They're going to get about 30, 40 centimeters. You can't even really keep them with Oscars that well because they like to nip at the fins of everything. Now, we were just donated a huge big adult one that's in one of my quarantine tanks at home. I keep eyeing these up. How pretty are these? Someone should probably come in and buy these so I don't take them home, but they are absolutely lovely. And I think hiding in the back of the tank, all the way there, those horizontal striped ones, those are lipstick leperonis. So same sort of species, well, same type of fish, but a different species, I should say. So they get red on them, obviously, hence the name lipstick, but very, very cool little fish. If you want something that doesn't really stay little, can't easily keep with many other fish. When they're small, they're kind of okay. When they're bigger, yeah, they're not okay. They're just evil, but how cool is that? Something you don't usually see that commonly in aquarium shops because they're so evil, but they are so cool as well. Just get a whole lot of these in a tank and you've got weird, weird fish. Because who doesn't want a weird fish? And talking about weird fish, I cannot believe I've still got some of these left. These are the giant dusty hatchet fish. I know, one of my favorite fish, and there's still probably about 10 or 12 left in there. They will get huge as well. Not as big as the leperonis, but they're going to max out around about that sort of 15, 18 centimeters, almost 20 centimeters, which is pretty bloody big. And they look derpy. Look how derpy they look. I know, it's like if someone's got a hatchet fish and just dragged it out a little bit. They are such a weird, cool fish. But if you've got bigger fish like barbs, rainbow fish and that, a school of these would go absolutely super awesome with them. But I thought I would just show you some of these really, really cool fish. I kind of hope that no one comes in and buys these because I do want to take them home. They're so cool. I know, when we do get them in, they're shy, they're smaller. These are all robust and eating and did I say feeding? Feeding, eating. They're eating really, really well, and they're just an awesome looking fish. Anyway, I will show you more fish in the next video for sure, as long as it's a fish video, that is. And if you did enjoy this video, click the thumbs up so I know. If you've got any questions, comment down below. If you would like to become a member, you can click the little member thing down the bottom in the description, and members get a 10% discount code on everything in the shop. So plants, fish, dry goods, you name it, you get a discount code to use in store or online. Online is just Australia only at the moment, I know, because freighting and all that wonderful stuff. But if you want to join in the membership thingy, click the thing down below, and thank you very much to all my current members. We will see you in the next video.